researchers wanted to see if there was any correlation between high IQ and drug use or drug experimentation. And what the researchers found was that yes, there actually is a positive correlation. And what they did was they looked at data from the 1958 National Child Development Study, and they surveyed about 17,416 people. And they found that children with higher IQs were more likely to use illegal drugs later in life. Now, there were a few hypotheses that they mentioned in the study that I found fascinating, but first let me tell you what they found in the study. Children with higher IQs were significantly more likely than those with lower IQs to use drugs as teens or young adults. If you have a high IQ, you are more likely to be open to new experiences. So you're more likely to experiment with something regardless of what it is. It might be a drug, it might be a new town or new city, whatever. It's a little bit of that intellectual curiosity, like, oh, let me try LSD, it might be awesome.
And you know, we partly kid around, but we don't.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't want to label all conservatives as stupid. That's ridiculous, right? And this is all in terms of generalizing and stereotyping. These are broad macro trends, right? Mm-hmm. But part of the reason why progressives, of course, we think are smarter, again, backed up by some data that we've shown you on the program, is that because they're also open to change. So, and why a lot of progressives are on the coast is because if you're born in the middle of the country, the people who don't want change or are afraid of change stay in the middle of the country. Again, these are just huge generalizations. Understand it does not apply person by person, right? But people who are open to new changes, they go to the coast because they go to a new place. They tend to be more progressive and oftentimes higher IQ.
Yeah.
Now, in the case of drugs, it's interesting because you might think, well, how high IQ is it to do cocaine? But I didn't know this. I only learned it during the article and the research we did into this. First of all, I knew Sigmund Freud had done cocaine, and in fact, he had become popular in the beginning because he was actually giving cocaine to the other students and professors.
Get it.
Yeah, I mean, he was the original.
Higher education.
Oh, think about it! That was a very intelligent pun. All right, anyway. And it's funny because he was kind of like the original gangster rapper.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know how some people, in the beginning, they were selling drugs, etc. So, but what I didn't know was Thomas Edison was also a big user of cocaine. Come on.
All right, guys, let's go snort cocaine. Like, what are we waiting for?
and I knew Steve Jobs had done LSD. I didn't know Bill Gates had done LSD.
Yeah.
So now, look, those are, of course, all anecdotal, right? But I get it, right? Part of it is open to experimentation. Now, they also had dumb theories, as Anna was leading to. One of my favorites was, well, you know, higher intelligence means you're probably a dork, and if you're a dork, you probably need it to cope. Like, oh, you're like such a social loner.
But I think that there might be some legitimacy to that.
You think so?
Yeah. And remember, this is just a hypothesis, okay? It's not a theory. They haven't tested it yet. But if you have a very high IQ, if you're very intelligent, chances are that you might be a little socially awkward. So they might cope with that by experimenting with drugs. And remember, it's a hypothesis, but it could, I don't know, there could be some legitimacy to that.
Like, I was in the geeky group in high school. I know everybody's shocked, right? But we experimented with different versions of ping pong. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, the cool kids won't hang out with us.